All right. Strap yourselves in because we are going deep today, deep into the world of 9-mark business questions. Those ones in the GCSE business and the real world exam, those ones that can really make or break you.
Yeah, that's right.
We're going to be dissecting a model answer, not just to get those 9 marks, but to give you a killer strategy.
A strategy you can use on any question.
On any question, you got it.
Yeah, we are going to go way beyond just remembering facts. We're going to understand the core concepts.
Absolutely.
And how to apply them, using real-world business scenarios.
Yeah, think of it like this is your training ground to become a business decision-making pro.
So, exactly.
Exactly. And in today's case study, we're focusing on the ins and outs of business partnerships. We've got John. He's an entrepreneur. He's built a successful adventure holiday company. But now he wants something bigger, right? He wants to expand into ski trips.
He's got big ambitions. And expanding, especially into a new market, that comes with its own challenges.
Big challenge.
It does. That's where Lucas comes in, the potential partner with a tempting proposition.
Ooh, a potential partner. Sounds like the perfect solution. Or is it?
Yeah.
Let's unpack this case study and see what's really going on. So, what do we know about John and Lucas? And what they can offer?
Well, John's been running this adventure holiday company for 7 years. He's super passionate about sustainability. He's willing to pay extra for eco-friendly options,
Really?
Yeah, that's a core value for him. Now Lucas comes in with something that John doesn't have. Extensive knowledge of Italian ski resorts.
Nice.
And he's also ready to invest in John's business.
Okay, so on the surface, it looks like a match made in heaven, right?
Yeah.
Lucas has that local knowledge, the financial muscle, the things that John needs to expand, and John has a business experience.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling there's more to this story, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Partnerships are like any relationship. They can be complicated. Remember John's commitment to sustainability? Well, it turns out that Lucas isn't quite as eco-conscious.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that difference in values, well, that could lead to some serious friction down the line.
That's a good point. It's not just about skills and money then, is it? Shared values. They play a huge role in the success of any partnership.
Yeah.
And there's another potential issue here, isn't there? Lucas doesn't have any business experience. Could that be a problem?
Precisely. Judd might find himself shouldering most of the responsibility, which kind of defeats the purpose of having a partner.
Yeah.
And think about the legal structure of this partnership, right? Would it be a general partnership where they both share unlimited liability? Or would it be a limited liability partnership, which offers some legal and financial protection?
Ooh, that's a big one.
Yeah, these are big questions that John needs to consider.
It's getting interesting. So how do we help John navigate this complex decision? Well, that's where our model answer comes in. It's built around a strategy. That's going to become your secret weapon, PEELC.
Yeah, PEELC is more than just an acronym, It's a roadmap for crafting that killer 9-mark answer. It stands for point, evidence, explain, link, and conclusion.
Okay.
Each element builds on the one before it. It creates a structured and well-reasoned argument.
I love it. So let's dive into this model answer. Let's see how this PEELC works its magic. We'll break down each paragraph, okay? Show you how to construct an answer that really shines. The first paragraph focuses on one of the key advantages of this partnership. Lucas's extensive knowledge of that Italian ski resort.
Right. It's not enough to just state the advantage. You have to explain why it matters. The model answer highlights how Lucas's local knowledge could mean smoother operations, stronger relationships with local suppliers, potentially even better deals, happier customers, which is key for any business, but especially one built on providing exceptional experiences.
It's all about connecting the dots, isn't it?
Yeah.
Showing the examiner you understand those real-world implications of these advantages. Now, let's move on to the second paragraph. This one highlights another potential benefit, the financial boost that Lucas's investment could provide.
Yeah, expansion takes money. And Lucas's investment, well, that could be a game changer for John. Think about all the costs involved in setting up a new holiday package in a foreign country. Marketing, accommodations, hiring ski instructors, maybe even legal fees for setting up the partnership. Sharing that financial burden with a partner like Lucas. Well, that could significantly accelerate John's expansion plan.
Yeah, and having access to that extra capital, well, that could allow John to secure better deals with suppliers.
Yeah.
Even invest in more sustainable options, right? Which would align with his values. Remember, every rose has its thorns. Paragraph 3 dives into a major disadvantage, the clash of values between John and Lucas, especially when it comes to sustainability.
Yeah, this is where things get really interesting. It's easy to overlook those shared values, but they can make or break a partnership. Imagine the conflicts that could arise when making decisions about accommodations, transportation, the types of activities offered. If John compromises his sustainability values, it could damage his brand image, alienate his loyal customer base, potentially even impact his long-term success.
Yeah, it's like a domino effect. A seemingly small difference in values, it can ripple throughout the whole business. Okay, let's move on to paragraph 4. This one focuses on another potential red flag, Lucas's lack of business experience.
This is a huge consideration. The model answer points out that John, with his 7 years of experience running adventures, he might end up doing most of the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
He could be stuck managing the operations, the finances, even the marketing, which leaves him with less time to focus on the strategic aspects of growing the business. It basically negates the benefits of having a partner.
It's like John would be trading one set of challenges for another. Instead of juggling everything himself, he'd be managing a partner that needs constant guidance and support.
Exactly.
That's a lot to take on, and it's a valid concern. I mean, that's something the examiner would want to see you address in your answer, right?
Absolutely. It really does highlight how important it is to carefully think about a potential partner's experience. Understanding what they really bring to the table. It's not just about that initial investment. It's about that long-term commitment, right? And the ability to really contribute to the business.
Yeah, it's about pulling their weight.
Exactly.
And this brings us to another important point. The model answer suggests a different solution. Instead of partnering with Lucas, hiring an experienced employee. What do you think about that?
That's a brilliant suggestion. This way, John, he keeps control of his business. He can make sure everything aligns with his values, and he still gets that expertise that he needs.
That's a really smart move. Hiring someone with a proven experience in the ski industry, it could be much more strategic. He can even structure the compensation package to include those performance-based incentives, really motivate that new employee to contribute to the success of this whole ski trip venture.
Exactly. It gives John more flexibility, and it helps reduce some of those risks that come with a partnership, especially with someone new to the business world.
Definitely less of a headache. Okay, so we've analyzed all the advantages and disadvantages, explored different solutions, but how do we bring it all together? How do we deliver that knockout punch? That's where the conclusion comes in, right? The grand finale of your 9-mark answer.
Yeah, the conclusion is your time to shine. You want to make a lasting impression on that examiner. Show them that you understand the whole situation and that you can give a well-reasoned judgment. And I gotta say, this model answer, it nails it.
It really does. It doesn't just repeat all the points. It takes a stance, recommending against the partnership with Lucas. Suggests that John hires an experienced employee instead.
And it goes beyond just stating a decision, It outlines the potential short-term and long-term impacts. For example, it says that John might struggle at first, finding the right employee and sorting the money on his own. But then it highlights those long-term benefits.
Like what kind of benefits?
Keeping control of his business, making sure that his sustainability values are front and center, and ultimately building a stronger foundation for future growth.
Future growth, that's what it's all about, isn't it?
It is.
It paints a clear picture of what success could look like if John chooses this path. But it also reminds us that success isn't guaranteed, is it?
None at all.
It depends on John and how well he executes his plan.
Yeah, he needs to secure funding, find that perfect employee, and manage this whole expansion process really carefully.
Right. It's the conclusion, it brings everything full circle. It shows that you understand the case study. And you can apply business concepts to real situations. So to recap, we've seen how the PEELC strategy can transform your 9-mark answers from good to absolutely amazing.
It's all about creating a structured argument, one that's backed up by evidence, explained clearly, and leads to a strong conclusion. It's not just about listing things off. It's about building a solid case, like a lawyer would in court.
And that conclusion, that's your closing argument. It's where you convince the jury, the examiner, that you understand everything and that you can offer a well-thought-out judgment. You're not just answering a question. You're showing off your business knowledge and your ability to use it in the real world.
And speaking of the real world, remember, no two business situations are ever exactly the same. This model answer, it's a great guide, but you'll need to tweak it, depending on the question you get.
Okay, so we've got to adapt and think on our feet.
You got it.
That's where those critical thinking skills come in handy. PEELC, it's a tool, but it's up to you to use it properly.
Right.
You need to take in all the information, find those key issues,
Right.
and develop a line of reasoning to back up your conclusions.
Absolutely. Go beyond the surface level stuff, consider different perspectives, and show that you can think like a true business leader.
This deep dive has been so helpful. I feel like I can finally tackle those 9-mark questions.
That's great to hear. And just remember, this model answer we've been looking at, it's a guide. It's not like a script to follow word for word. It's about understanding the ideas behind it, that PEELC structure, the deep analysis, the clear conclusion, and then you can use those ideas in any business situation.
Right. It's like having all the tools.
Yeah.
But you need to know which ones to use.
Exactly.
And how to use them, right?
Yeah, and that's where practice comes in. The more you use PEELC on different case studies, the more confident you'll become. You'll be able to analyze those business problems and really make a strong argument.
So next time you see a 9-mark question on your exam, don't freak out. Just think PEELC. Break down the problem and build your case.
Like a pro?
Like a pro.
And don't forget that conclusion. That's what really makes a difference. It ties everything together, so the examiner knows exactly what you're thinking and how you made your decision.
It's like the finishing touch on a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Speaking of masterpieces, we couldn't have done this deep dive without the amazing Google Notebook LM.
Yeah, huge thanks to Notebook LM for giving us that model answer. It was the perfect starting point for our chat.
Okay, before we finish up, let's go back to John and his problem. We looked at the good and bad of partnering with Lucas. We talked about hiring an experienced employee. What else should John think about before he makes his choice?
That's a good question. Well, he could look into different ways to get funding, not just a partnership. Maybe small business loans, crowdfunding, even angel investors.
Oh, that's interesting. What about market research? Has he really figured out if his customers even want ski trips? Knowing his target market is super important.
Absolutely.
For setting prices, marketing, even planning the types of ski packages he'll offer.
Right. And there's also all the legal stuff. Expanding into a new country, well, there might be different rules and regulations, permits, licenses, all that.
It just shows that business decisions are complicated.
Yeah.
There's always more to think about, more to analyze, more to learn.
That's what makes it so exciting.
It does.
The business world is always changing. There are always new challenges and opportunities. The important thing is to build a strong base of knowledge and learn how to think critically so you can adapt and succeed in any situation.
Okay, business superstars, go out there and conquer those 9-mark questions. Remember, PEELC. And be ready to dive deep into those tricky business problems. You got everything you need to ace it. This has been a PEELC Strategy production. We'll see you on the next deep dive.